All right, welcome to Fusion and using it for a mechanics class. So what we're going to do here is we're going to create a gasket. Okay, before we get started on that one, a few things to start off with. So first off, when you first get into Fusion, you may need to have a project. So up here it says new project. And all you do is you click on it and it creates a new one. So I've already got one called mechanics. I'm just going to go into mechanics. And these are all the files that come out of mechanics. So you can see the three different gaskets that we're going to create. Okay, so first off, over here, document settings, we got to know what units we're working in. So under units, we're going to change this one right now to inches. Why? Because the engine that we're working with is a Briggs & Stratton that is all in inches. It's Imperial or SAE. Okay, so that's the first thing I'm going to do, and I'm just going to see it. I'll leave it there with inches. Okay, second thing, a little bit of movement around. If I hold my mouse button down, okay, or the scroll button, I can move around on the screen. Okay, if I hold the shift key down, I can move around on the screen and then I get lost. So how do I get back? Well, the easiest thing is up top corner here. It's called the view cube. And what I can do is I can hit the home button. That'll put it back into an isometric view. Or what I can do is hit the top view and I get from the top. Now that's not the direction I want it. So come back up and hit an arrow and I can put it like that. Okay, so there's the first thing. Second thing, this here is called the data panel. I can hide it. And you're going to see most times that I've got it hidden for these videos, okay? But I can bring it back for showing it, and once again, I'm going to hide it, okay? And finally, this is the browser, and you can see things slowly show up in here, okay? So you can expand things, hide things, and we'll talk about that in a bit. All right, let's get started. Our first thing. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to move this over here, okay? And I'm going to go to Sketch, and we're going to create our first sketch. And what's happened is it's kind of over here, right? Yours might be out in the middle, and yours probably will look like this, okay? So I'm going to click on this, okay? And it's going to set me up. And I'm just going to zoom so you can see this image over here. And let's go for this. Let's start with the circle here. So up top, create circle. Now, sometimes you might hit create to find things, circle, and I'm just doing a center diameter circle. I'm going to pick the center point here, and that way it locks the circle in place and everything can work off of it. Okay, and from here, I know that circle happens to be 5/8. So I'm going to take 5/8. Okay, and I'm going to write it as a fraction because what I did is I took a drill bit and I stuck it down the middle of it and it told me it was 5/8. So there's our first part. Next, I'm going to create a basic outline shape of this. And the easiest thing to do is create a box to start with. So we're going to do a 2-point rectangle. And I'm just going to liberally kind of go like this. And I'm going to hit tabs. You can see it goes between the two blues. So I know that the width of that gasket is 2 1/4, so 2.1/4. Okay, and I'm gonna hit tab right away. Actually, no, I'm gonna hit enter. Okay, and you notice that, now what do I do? I haven't dimensioned this one. So what I do is on mine, it's right here, sketch dimension. On yours, create, it's probably the very bottom, sketch dimension, or the letter D. Okay, and I'm just gonna bring this out, and I know that this was 1 1/2. Right, so there's our basic box. Now, I need to get this box in the right spot relative to this circle. So again, I'm still in dimension. And if I get out of dimension by hitting escape, I can press letter D and it comes back. And you can see by the symbol there as well, by the cursor, there's a little dimension symbol. And I'm going to go put this box relative to this circle in the right spot. So start from the center point of the circle to here. And I know that that is 15/16. Okay. And then from the center of the circle to the top, I know because I'm measuring it, okay, it is 13/16. Okay, 13/16. So now that box or rectangle is relative to the right spot of that circle. Okay, next, what are we going to tackle? Let's tackle this little notch down here. So once again, this time, go to a line. Okay, and I'm going to take the line, I'm just going to put it up. And I know, because I just measured it, the line is 1/8 tall. And we hit enter. And then we'll do one more line, and I'm going to come over here and go and pick the, actually, I'm going to go over to show you something. Okay, and I'm just going to do this. Now, I went over the line. Right now, I can actually just grab it back and snap it back to that spot. Okay, so I put it in place. Now I need to dimension it, so the letter D for dimension. And that line there, when I pick it, Okay, oops, let's just hit enter by a chance and go, oh no, that's the wrong dimension. What do I do? Well, I just double click and then we put it to the right dimension, which happens to be 1 and 7/16. Oops, 16ths. There we go. And there's that. Now, we're almost done for this part of the tutorial. So what we're going to do is just clean it up a tiny bit. So first off, I'm just going to hide the dimensions. And these things here are called constraints. We'll talk about that another time. We'll hide those. And you notice right now that this is still missing, right? Okay, or it shouldn't be there. And this line shouldn't be there. So what we're going to do is come up to modify. There's one called trim, okay, or the letter T. And it puts a pair of scissors, and I can just cut away what doesn't matter, or the trim away. Okay, so we're almost there. So how about we do a save first? So let's go up and save this. So we do a save up here. Okay, name. I'm going to call this the fuel tank gasket. Okay, and I'm going to put Briggs on it, so I know Briggs 3 horsepower. Okay, and location. Well, I've got all these different locations here, but I'm going to put it under mechanics, right? Which makes sense because it's mechanics. And I click on save. Now up here, you're going to say it says fuel tank gasket, Brig, right? 3 horsepower. And if I come back to my data panel, you can see there's my sketch right there. Okay. The other one too is I'm just going to finish the sketch to show you this. Now, what happens if I get out of that? You can see here sketches have been created. So sometimes it's closed off. I can turn it off, turn it on. Okay. But to get back to that sketch, I can double click the sketch and now I'm in it. And then finally, I'm going to turn back on my dimensions and we're just going to do the last line. So click on line, put a line from here to here. Okay, and again, where's that coming from? You can see right here. Oh, I'll hide my data panel. So you can see here, that line right there, we're going to create it. So what are we going to do? Put a line there, go back. We're going to dimension it now, D for dimension, and go, I know from here to this point right here is 1 inch, because we just measured it. And finally, from here to this line, okay, happens to be 1¼ inches. And there we go. So last thing we do, trim it. So hit escape, hit T for trim, cut those out, and finally take dimension off. And I believe that that looks like what it should be other than the curve there, the fillet, which we'll do at a later date. So we finish the sketch. And again, we go up and save it right away. Now, before I hit save, I'm going to let's cancel this for a second. Before I hit save, I'm going to bring this out. See what it says here? It says V1, okay, because we've already saved it as version 1. Now we're going to save this, okay, and watch what happens. This, I can make descriptions. I can call this, whatever I want and said, did the corner piece or whatever, right? But we're just going to hit OK and watch down here. We now have version 2. So we can always go back and actually go back to version 1 if we really messed up and fix it, okay? So that concludes this tutorial on getting started with the gasket. And the next tutorial, what we're going to do is basically complete the 3 holes that are left over, do some filleting, and that will be it. All right, so see you in the next tutorial.